There is a reason the word location keeps standing out. You may have been thinking about your soulmate and wondering when they will finally make a move, when they will contact you, when the distance between you will disappear, or when something will happen that proves the connection is not what you imagined. But what if the surprise is connected to a place? What if your soulmate is preparing to come closer to your area? What if they are planning a trip? What if their work, family, responsibilities, or personal circumstances are taking them somewhere unexpectedly close to you? And what if you discover the truth at the exact moment you least expect it? Stay with this message until the end, because the location connected to this surprise may not be the place you are currently imagining. There is a deeper pattern unfolding. For a while, you may have noticed something strange. A particular city keeps appearing. A neighborhood keeps coming up in conversations. Someone mentions a place you have not thought about in years. You see the same location on social media. You suddenly feel like visiting somewhere. An invitation arrives unexpectedly. A trip that was uncertain becomes possible. A family plan changes. A work-related reason sends you somewhere. A person you know suddenly tells you they are traveling. At first, all of these things may appear unrelated. But sometimes life begins moving pieces before you understand why those pieces are moving. The important thing is not to become obsessed with every coincidence. The important thing is to recognize when several real-life circumstances begin pointing in the same direction. Your soulmate surprise may be connected to exactly that kind of movement. They may not be sitting somewhere simply thinking about you. They may be making an actual decision that changes the distance between you. That is the difference. Thinking is invisible. Movement is visible. Someone can miss you silently for months. Someone can remember your conversations. Someone can wonder what would happen if they contacted you. Someone can replay memories and still remain completely still. But eventually, there comes a point when thought becomes action. And action can involve a journey. A visit. A relocation. A meeting. A change of workplace. A family gathering. A celebration. A business trip. A temporary stay. A new home. Or an unexpected reason to enter your surroundings. That is why this message is about location. The surprise may not begin with a romantic sentence. It may begin with geography changing. Distance becoming smaller. Two separate routines moving toward the same environment. Two paths approaching the same place. And you may not know it is happening until the evidence appears directly in front of you. Imagine checking your phone one ordinary afternoon. Nothing special is happening. You are focused on your own responsibilities. Then you receive a message. You open it. It is from your soulmate. And the message is not what you expected. Maybe it says, "Are you still there?" Maybe, "I'll be in your city soon." Maybe, "I need to tell you something." Maybe, "Can we meet?" Or perhaps the message is even simpler. "Where are you right now?" That question could carry much more meaning than it appears to. Because the person asking may already be closer than you think. There is another possibility. You may not receive a message at all. You may hear about them through someone else. A mutual friend says their name. A family member mentions where they have been. Someone casually reveals that they recently moved. You discover that their workplace changed. You find out they are visiting an area connected to you. And suddenly you realize that the distance you believed existed may no longer be the same. That can be shocking. Because sometimes we create an emotional picture based on old information. We remember where someone used to live. We remember their old job. We remember their previous circumstances. We assume they are still exactly where they were. But people move. Lives change. Jobs change. Families change. Priorities change. And sometimes the person you thought was far away has quietly entered a completely different chapter. Your soulmate could be experiencing such a transition. Perhaps they have been considering a move. Perhaps an opportunity appeared. Perhaps their family required them to travel. Perhaps they have been visiting a place connected to their future. Perhaps they are temporarily staying somewhere closer to you. Perhaps they are preparing to make a permanent change. You may not know the reason yet. But the location could become the clue that reveals the movement. And there is something important you need to understand. Do not chase the location. Do not start traveling simply because you believe a prediction requires you to be somewhere. Do not spend money you cannot afford. Do not interfere with another person's privacy. Do not follow someone or try to track their movements. That is not what this message is about. This is about remaining aware of opportunities that naturally appear in your own life. If an invitation comes, consider it. If a legitimate journey becomes necessary, take it. If work sends you somewhere, be present. If family plans change, remain open. If someone genuinely reaches out, listen carefully. The surprise should unfold through real circumstances, not through forced behavior. There is a major difference between being available for an unexpected encounter and trying to manufacture one. One comes from openness. The other comes from desperation. And you do not need desperation. If this connection is healthy and mutual, it can withstand patience. Your soulmate should not need to be chased into your life. Their actions should eventually demonstrate their intentions. This is where the location becomes only the beginning. Suppose you meet unexpectedly. That moment may be powerful. You may feel nervous. You may feel emotional. You may remember everything that happened between you. But the encounter itself does not tell you the entire future. What happens afterward matters. Do they communicate? Do they explain why they came? Do they acknowledge the past? Do they speak honestly? Do they make consistent effort? Do they respect your boundaries? Do they show emotional maturity? These things reveal much more than the surprise itself. The location may bring two people into the same room. Character determines what happens once they are there. And perhaps that is the real reason this message is coming to you. You have been focused on when. But you may need to pay attention to where. You have been asking, when will they contact me? When will they return? When will they confess? When will something finally happen? But sometimes the next clue is not a date. It is a destination. A place. An environment. A change in surroundings. A new route. A journey you did not originally plan. This could be especially significant if your life has recently entered a period of movement. Maybe you are considering relocating. Maybe you have been thinking about changing jobs. Maybe you are planning a trip. Maybe your family has something coming up. Maybe you are returning to a place from your past. Maybe you are entering a completely new environment. The change may seem unrelated to romance. Yet that change could create the opportunity for a meeting. This is how unexpected encounters often happen. Not because two people deliberately plan everything, but because life creates an overlap. One person changes their schedule. The other changes theirs. One person travels. The other happens to be there. One person accepts an invitation. The other person receives the same invitation. One person takes a new job. The other already has a connection to that environment. And suddenly two separate stories intersect. That intersection can feel almost impossible to explain. But there is another side to this. Your soulmate may already know the location. They may have been there before. They may have memories connected to it. They may know someone there. They may have a reason to return. And perhaps they have not told you yet because they do not want to reveal the surprise. Maybe they want to appear unexpectedly. Maybe they are waiting for the right opportunity. Maybe they are unsure how you will react. Maybe they are preparing themselves emotionally before making contact. Or maybe they simply have not decided exactly how to approach you. Whatever their reason, you should not assume what they are thinking. Instead, let reality reveal it. There is freedom in not having to know everything. You do not need to decode their mind. You do not need to investigate every detail. You do not need to predict every movement. You can simply continue living. Because the most powerful part of an unexpected encounter is that you are not spending every second waiting for it. You are busy becoming stronger. You are building your life. You are working toward your goals. You are growing emotionally. You are learning what you deserve. And then, while you are focused on your own journey, something unexpected crosses your path. That is when the surprise can truly feel like a surprise. There is another possibility that deserves attention. The location may not be where you meet your soulmate physically. It could be the place they finally reveal to you. Perhaps they have been somewhere important and decide to tell you. Maybe they moved. Maybe they are visiting another city. Maybe they are preparing to return. Maybe they have been living somewhere you never expected. Maybe they have discovered something connected to you there. Maybe they want you to come and meet them. The revelation itself could become the surprise. You might suddenly realize that their life has changed significantly. And that information could make you rethink everything you previously believed. Perhaps the distance between you was never permanent. Perhaps circumstances simply kept you apart. Maybe timing prevented the connection from developing. Maybe both of you needed to grow separately. Maybe there were responsibilities that had to be handled first. Maybe one of you was not emotionally ready. Sometimes two people can care about each other and still be unable to build something at the wrong time. Timing matters. Readiness matters. Circumstances matter. And location can be one of those circumstances. A person may be emotionally ready but geographically unavailable. Then suddenly their circumstances change. They become closer. That can open a door that was previously impossible to reach. But there is also a warning here. Do not confuse closeness with commitment. Someone living near you does not automatically mean they are your soulmate. Someone visiting your city does not automatically mean they came for you. Someone appearing unexpectedly does not automatically mean destiny has spoken. You must remain grounded. If something is real, it will eventually produce real evidence. Words can create excitement. Actions create trust. A surprise can create emotion. Consistency creates a relationship. So if this location-related surprise happens, enjoy the moment without immediately writing the ending. Let the story develop. Let conversations happen. Let questions be answered. Let time reveal intention. That is how you protect your heart while remaining open to possibility. There is also a beautiful spiritual lesson hidden inside all of this. Sometimes we want God to show us the entire map. But life rarely works that way. You receive enough direction for the next step. Then another step becomes visible. Then another. You may not know today where you will be 6 months from now. You may not know who you will meet. You may not know which opportunity will change your routine. You may not know which journey will become important. But that does not mean nothing is happening. Movement can happen before understanding. A door can open before you know why. A location can become important before you know who is waiting there. And a meeting can happen before you understand its purpose. This is why you should not be afraid of change. If your life naturally brings you into a new environment, do not automatically resist it simply because it is unfamiliar. Sometimes new environments expose you to people and possibilities you could never encounter while remaining in the same routine. But again, use wisdom. Not every new place is a divine sign. Not every stranger is your soulmate. Not every coincidence is prophecy. Discernment is more valuable than excitement. If something brings peace, clarity, healthy opportunity, and mutual respect, explore it wisely. If something brings fear, manipulation, pressure, secrecy, or danger, step back. Your future is not worth sacrificing your safety. And if the person you have been waiting for truly appears, they should respect that. A genuine connection does not demand that you abandon common sense. It should make room for it. Now think about the possibility that the surprise is closer than you expect. Maybe the location is not another country. Maybe it is not another state. Maybe it is not even another city. Maybe it is a place only a short distance from you. A cafe. A workplace. A neighborhood. A family event. A shopping area. A religious gathering. A public celebration. A mutual friend's home. A familiar street. A place you visit regularly. That possibility can make the message even more intriguing. Because you may already be passing near the location without knowing what is about to change. Perhaps your routines are beginning to overlap. Maybe you shop in the same area. Maybe your professional circles are becoming connected. Maybe mutual friends are creating opportunities. Maybe both of you have started visiting the same environment. This is why paying attention to your actual life matters more than trying to predict everything. Look at what is already changing. What invitations are appearing? What journeys are becoming possible? What places are suddenly becoming relevant? What people are entering your circle? What plans are changing? What opportunities are bringing you outside your normal routine? Those are tangible things. And tangible things are where discernment begins. You may also notice that you feel different about travel. Perhaps you have been wanting to go somewhere. Maybe you keep thinking, I should visit that place. Maybe you have no logical explanation for the thought. Do not automatically assume it is supernatural. But you can pray about it. If there is a healthy reason to go, consider going. If circumstances align naturally, allow yourself to explore. You never know what a new environment may introduce. The important thing is that you are not going there solely to find a person. You are going because life has opened a legitimate reason. That distinction keeps your heart balanced. And perhaps the surprise happens there. Not because you chased it. Because you simply showed up for your own life. This is the kind of unexpected moment people remember for years. The day you almost stayed home. The trip you nearly canceled. The invitation you almost declined. The place you had not visited in years. The event you attended without expecting anything. And then a familiar person appears. There is silence. There is recognition. And suddenly both of you realize that your paths have crossed again. What happens next depends on who you both are now. Because people change. Maybe your soulmate is not the same person they were before. Maybe you are not the same person either. Perhaps the distance gave both of you time to mature. Perhaps mistakes taught important lessons. Perhaps separation created clarity. Perhaps the past no longer has the same power. And perhaps this unexpected meeting gives both of you an opportunity to discover whether something real can exist now. That is why you should never build the entire future around the memory of who someone used to be. Meet the person they are today. Listen to what they say today. Observe what they do today. Judge the connection by present reality. Not only by history. Not only by chemistry. Not only by dreams. Reality matters. If your soulmate is coming closer, let their behavior demonstrate it. If they want to meet, they can communicate. If they want to build something, they can make effort. If they want reconciliation, they can address what happened. If they want commitment, they can eventually communicate clearly. You do not have to carry the entire relationship alone. And that may be the biggest shift happening in you. You are no longer waiting for someone to complete you. You are becoming whole while remaining open to companionship. That changes everything. Because when you stop chasing, you become better at recognizing. When you stop forcing, you become better at discerning. When you stop obsessing over signs, you become better at seeing reality. And when reality finally presents the person and the place, you can respond from peace instead of desperation. So if the location connected to your soulmate begins becoming clearer, do not panic. You do not have to figure everything out in one day. Maybe you discover that they are nearby. Maybe they are traveling toward you. Maybe you are traveling toward them. Maybe both of you will unexpectedly end up in the same place. Maybe a mutual connection will bring you together. Maybe a move will change the entire situation. Maybe the surprise will be a simple invitation to meet. Whatever form it takes, allow the moment to unfold naturally. There is no need to force a prophecy into reality. If something is meant to develop, it will require real participation from both people. Your soulmate cannot be the only one moving emotionally while you remain stuck in fear. And you cannot be the only one making effort while they remain silent. A healthy relationship moves in two directions. That is what you should look for. Mutuality. Clarity. Consistency. Respect. And genuine intention. The location can start the story. But those qualities determine whether the story deserves another chapter. There is one final possibility I want you to consider. The surprise may not be your soulmate physically arriving at your location. The surprise could be that you are the one who suddenly has a reason to leave yours. You may receive an opportunity that takes you somewhere completely different. You may accept a new position. You may travel. You may visit family. You may attend an event. You may begin something new. And in that new environment, you encounter the person you have been waiting for. This is why you cannot assume the surprise must come to your doorstep. Sometimes your next chapter requires you to move. Not because you are chasing love. Because you are following your own growth. And love may be encountered along the way. That is a much healthier way to view this. Do not make your soulmate the destination. Make your purpose the destination. Then allow relationships to develop along the journey. Because the right person should be able to walk beside your purpose, not replace it. So tonight, instead of asking, "Where is my soulmate?" ask, "Where is my life taking me?" That question may reveal much more. What new places are appearing? What opportunities are emerging? What plans are changing? What doors are opening? What environments are you being introduced to? What old locations are returning to your life? Pay attention. Not with obsession. With awareness. And if one specific place begins appearing again and again alongside genuine circumstances, take note. Pray about it. Use wisdom. Let events unfold. You may eventually understand why that location kept appearing. Perhaps it will be where you meet. Perhaps it will be where you reconnect. Perhaps it will be where a conversation finally happens. Perhaps it will be where you receive unexpected news. Or perhaps it will be where you realize that your life is moving towards something much bigger than the relationship you were waiting for. Either way, you are moving forward. The old season does not have to control the new one. Distance does not have to remain permanent. Confusion does not have to remain forever. And uncertainty does not mean your future is empty. There are still chapters you have not read. There are places you have not visited. There are people you have not met. There are conversations you have not had. There are opportunities you cannot currently see. So keep walking. Keep growing. Keep your heart open without surrendering your discernment. And if your soulmate really is preparing a location-based surprise, let it come through reality. Maybe the first clue will be a city. Maybe a trip. Maybe an invitation. Maybe a message. Maybe a sudden change in plans. Maybe their name appearing somewhere unexpected. Maybe the words, "I'll be there." Maybe, "Can we meet?" Maybe, "I'm closer than you think." And when that happens, do not rush to create an entire future in your imagination. Take one moment. Breathe. Listen. Observe. Then allow the next step to reveal itself. Because sometimes the greatest romantic surprise is not the person standing in front of you. It is realizing that the distance you once thought was impossible to overcome has quietly disappeared. And maybe that is what this entire message has been preparing you to recognize. Your soulmate surprise may be connected to a place. A place that becomes important without warning. A place that brings two paths together. A place where an old story gets a new conversation. A place where you finally receive clarity. A place where something unexpected begins. So do not spend tonight trying to discover an exact address. You do not need that. Instead, stay aware of the movement happening in your own life. If the opportunity to travel appears naturally, consider it. If a new environment opens, explore it wisely. If someone reaches out, listen. If your soulmate says they are nearby, let their actions explain why. And if nothing happens immediately, continue living. You have not missed your destiny simply because you cannot see it yet. Your life is not standing still. And your future is not dependent on one person's arrival. If this connection is meant to become part of your future, it will have to become real through mutual choice, honest communication, and consistent action. Until then, keep becoming stronger. Keep building your life. Keep walking toward your purpose. Because perhaps somewhere on that journey, a location you never considered important will suddenly become unforgettable. Maybe you will arrive there expecting an ordinary day. And instead, you will see someone you never expected to see. Maybe your phone will ring. Maybe a message will arrive. Maybe someone will say your name. Maybe your soulmate will be standing closer than they have been in a very long time. And in that moment, you may understand something. The surprise was never only about who was coming. It was about where your paths were finally going to cross. That is why you should not chase the map. Live your journey. Let your steps be guided by wisdom. Let genuine opportunities unfold. Let people prove themselves through action. And when the unexpected location becomes clear, you will not need to force yourself to believe. You will simply recognize what is happening in front of you. Your next destination could carry an unexpected conversation. Your next journey could create an unexpected meeting. Your next change of routine could introduce an unexpected person. And the place you almost ignored could become the place where your story changes. So stay ready. Not anxious. Not desperate. Ready. Because sometimes love does not announce its arrival months in advance. Sometimes it simply changes the distance. Sometimes it changes the destination. Sometimes it changes the route. And sometimes, without warning, two people who thought they were far apart discover that they are standing in the same place. That is the surprise. That is the mystery. And that is why the location matters.